So good afternoon, guys. Welcome to a special stream. This is like a catch-up build where I've moved again, and I'm sorting everything out. I've just not been able to catch up with the Spitfire. Excuse the camera, that's kind of set up and it's difficult to move around. So today, what we're going to do, I've started an early show because normally I'd stream from 8 till 10. I want to do quite a few issues. I'm aware that the next issues I've got to do are fairly simple. I don't know how tired I'll be at 10 o'clock, having not streamed for a long time and blah, blah, blah. And I want to get quite a few issues done without rushing it. So what I've decided to do is do a 6 o'clock show, and then we'll just work through. We're thinking maybe we'll do 7 issues, and the reason for that is that we have a piece of fuselage to do, then we have some work to do, simple work on one side, and then the next 3 issues is exactly the same on the other side. So we're thinking maybe 7 issues. Anyway, like all good streams, I have a very good friend to help me out. I'll tell you a funny little story, shall I? When Adrian rings me, we have a little bit of a laugh. And I just dropped my camera. Sorry, guys. Now, when Adrian rings me up, we have a bit of a laugh, and I answer the phone by going, "What do you want?" Anyway, this guy rang me up this afternoon, and without even thinking, I just went, "What do you want?" And I forgot we never done that before, and he was a little bit like, "Well, I'm just ringing you." So. Yeah, I think he said it was all right in the end and we laughed, but I think I did kind of worry him for a second. Anyway, it's Chris Davis.
Yeah, guys, is that
How are you, Chris?
Yeah, good, you. Thanks for having me on, Pen. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Always happy to have a great help.
Yeah, no problem.
So basically what's going to be happening is usual stuff. I'm going to be building. Chris is going to be helping me with instructions. And with regards to the chat, either of us can do it. We'll just see how we get on.
Yeah, I can highlight on the screen anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah. So I'll just do a quick catch up. So gold star for first award goes to Mike Tedstone of Smith Speeds, who says hello all.
Yeah, hi Mike.
Then we have Dave Mack. Always nice to see Dave Mack. Good evening.
Big back in the house.
Nice to have you back. Good luck with your build. We have Natasha that says hi all. Hi Natasha. I was winding Natasha up this morning as well, and she said on one of our groups, she said she's off to the cinema today, and I said, "Oh, lovely." I said, "What are you watching?" She said, "Fast and Furious 9." I said, "Oh, I thought you were off to see a good film." So, but from what I gather, she had a good time. Was it a really good film, Natasha? Well worth watching? So Mike Tedstone, been too long without your regular streams. Now, this is not a regular stream. This is a catch-up because I'm so many weeks behind on the Spitfire, and it's just basically what had happened was the spreadsheet that we use to log all of the shows. Horlicks normally broadcasts on a Thursday and a Friday. He does Terminator on one day and Spitfire on another. And what had happened, basically what had happened is his stream had been removed from the spreadsheet. So I naturally assumed the show had been cancelled. So I stepped in, thought, here's an opportunity to do a bit of catch up. I've not streamed for a very long time because I just had no confidence. And I just, thanks to Mike and Teresa, they've really sort of helped me get my confidence. Almost forced me to stream, almost against my will, and really sort of pushed me. And then once I got streaming again, I just got my confidence back. And obviously now that I'm starting to get my confidence back, I'm confident enough to do a Spitfire build. And obviously I saw these 2 blank days. So I said, okay, fine, I'll have them. What I didn't realize that there was a spreadsheet that's been made for which I had no access to. There was no way I could possibly have known that so basically we've got one group of people who are advertising on one spreadsheet, and then we've got another group of people advertising on the original. But Horlicks is aware of the situation, and although he's broadcasting at 7 o'clock on his channel. He knows that I've not done this maliciously or anything to try and upset him. In fact, to be honest with you, after discussing it, we're probably better friends than we have been for a very long time. But we've always, you know, me and Horlicks have known each other for a long time. We've always had this mutual respect. Sometimes we do get the claws out with each other, but then don't all friends do that from time to time?
Yeah.
I think we've had our rows, haven't we, Chris?
We all do, yeah.
Yeah, so but yeah, so it's not that I'm trying to clash with Horlicks. It's that I genuinely didn't know he was streaming. I thought he'd cancelled his shows. So I just took the opportunity. And as someone said to me, if I don't do my shows, it's not fair on the viewers. Obviously, if you saw this come up on a schedule, oh, Penny's view thingy. So yeah, so little catch up. So Mike Tiston, you need to be wide awake at 10 o'clock. You got horse training to do. So for most of you won't get that comment. Mike has started playing Red Dead Redemption with our little regular group. Our little regular group within about 2 or 3 weeks has gone from me on my own to me and Chris Davis, me and Chris Davis and 2 others, and now we have 2 more. So we don't really have a posse anymore. We have a bit of a crew, don't we?
Yeah.
We all have regular players, but because we're all different levels, I've got to the level where I don't need to work as hard because I've got the money, but I can help others make money. So I spend a lot of time with some of the lower level players, helping them build their money up. I'm going to explain why I keep getting all jumpy in a little bit, but it'll all come. I have a really terrible setup today. So Natasha says, hi, Chris. Natasha, have you dyed your hair? I'm sure that profile picture's got a different color hair. It looks nice. And I'm not going to say one looks nicer than the other.
Yeah.
Dave Mack, hi, Chris Davis World. Mike Tedstone, hello. Natasha, smiley, 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 smiley. Or laughing, 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 laughing. Natasha, it was well worth watching, 2 hours long. Me and my friend are planning to watch some more when she's able to. Sounds brilliant. To be honest with you, I'd love to go to the cinema just because the last couple of years we've not been able to. So, Mike Testo really had to bend your arm up. Yeah, they did. I was in a bit of a state. John's model, Megan. Evening, Penny, and everyone. Hello to you, John.
Hi, John.
Natasha says, giddy up, giddy up. Right, so I'm going to do the really boring thing, and I'm going to set some ground rules. Normally, I stream for an hour or 2, and there's opportunities for me to slip away and do my little things that I need to do, like comfort breaks, coffee breaks. But obviously, there's just the 2 of us. Now, like I said, if I do a 1 or 2 hour stream, I can refrain from an awful lot of things, but this is going to be possibly a 4-hour stream. I am a smoker, and I will do my absolute best to keep my horrible habits off the stream. If anything should come into shot, I apologize in advance. It's going to happen. I can't go that long. If I need a comfort break, I'm going to politely make an excuse to come away from the camera, and hopefully Chris can pick up the stream while I'm away.
Anytime,
and also, I'm not saying this is likely to happen or I'm anticipating it, because this is a general ruling. Please be kind and courteous, guys. If you don't like my stream, don't watch it. I really am not affected by that. But most importantly, be kind and courteous to my lovely viewers who have taken the time and trouble to watch this show and have commented. Because it's those guys that make my show for me, and I couldn't do the show without them. So please be kind and courteous to those. And that's basically it. And I'm going to try. Oh, and also my camera setup is absolutely terrible, and I do apologize. So I have this camera that's looking at me, which is absolutely no good for building. We have this overhead camera, which is pretty good, but it might not be suitable. And the camera that I've got in reserve is this surprisingly good camera, which is just in front of me. My chest is touching the back of the camera, but unfortunately, if I move to this camera, the stand doesn't actually fit properly, so it's kind of balanced. So if I knock it, look, well, you see it takes a bit of a knock, but if I knock it too much, the camera's going to fall off. So there is an absolute possibility that the camera could go flying at some point tonight on more than one occasion, and I do apologize in advance, but we are going to do our absolute best. Right, so there is my, God, that's lopsided, isn't it? Oh, he's got the Coronation Street on. I ain't seen that for a long time.
No, still was trying to get this so I can have a look at the comments on the phone.
Right, so I'm going to remove my keyboard. I've got all my bits and bobs ready. So I have got oh, Mike is saying, I'll get to that actually. Right, so Dave Mack, hi John's model making. Mike says cigarette break. Natasha says, no, never dyed my hair. It's still the same, but in heat. Oh, of course it does. Yeah, mine does the same. And of course, the sun affects darker hair more than light hair, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's probably what it was. Last time I saw you, probably had a bit of sun on your head. John Model Mate, this is the great thing about my show, but it generates a lot of chat. Everyone's so polite, and they all polite to everybody else. So a lot of the comments are always going to be some person saying hello to someone else. So John's Model Making, hi Dave Mack, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Mike Tedstone says that's a polite word for P brake. Well, yeah, the way I see it, P brake means you're going for a P. Comfort brake means it covers just about anything. Taking a comfort break can include going to make a cup of coffee.
I know, yeah.
But I have got my I've got my cup of coffee at the ready, and I've got my glass, and I'm drinking Vimto today, but I'll get told off by my friend because I should be drinking Iron Brew, because he says, you're in Scotland now, drink like the Scots. So Build with Adrian says, hi, everyone. Dave Mack says, hi, Adrian.
I see that comment already, yeah.
Yeah, and then Mike says, a lot of glare from the window behind Chris.
Even the blinds are close here, I've still got glare in on that.
Right. Okay. If it causes a problem, maybe I don't know if you can move your camera, but we'll see how we get on.
Laptop's here, because the way the desk is in this room, the laptop is the main camera.
Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do first, Chris, I do apologise. I'm gonna nick the full screen. I'm just going to change my camera, and I'm just switching to overhead view. This is what I've got so far. For those that don't remember, don't recall, haven't seen me before, we had a very flimsy framework, which I've strengthened with, basically I've stuck it down to an Amazon envelope with tape, and it's just really added a lot of strength. I know that you can buy a 3D printed stand for it, but to be honest with you, from what I understand, this is going to be obsolete once the model's actually finished. So I don't see the point in spending a lot of money for something you're going to be throwing away. But this is what I've got so far. We've got the little lights on the end of the wingtips, which I've taped down with masking tape. I know some people tape theirs down with electrical tape, but I would be concerned about sticky residue when you pull it up. The wires I've just taped together just to try and keep them neat, and then I've taped them down to the actual wing. We've got the machine guns. Now, this has been in storage for a couple of months, and it's also had a house move. And on more than one occasion, this particular flap has got stuck. Now, it's moving freely at the moment, because every now and again, if it gets stuck, I just kind of pull it in the right way. I'm trying to see if I can make it get stuck, but I actually can't. It's absolutely fine at the moment, but every now and again, you can't move it. Now, I'm hoping that once we get the support bar in there, it will hold it in the position it needs to be. But I suspect what it might be is where I've glued the top and the bottom of the flap. Maybe it's not quite squeezed in enough. I'm not sure, but this one I've never had a problem with, as you can see. But that's where I'm up to. And then what we're going to be doing today, and we're going to bring in this one, and we're going to be doing issue 47 today. Would you like me to read it, Chris, or are you happy to do so?
Well, I'm happy to do it whatever you want. I'm happy to do it.
Let's do the grand unveiling of what we're going to be up to today.
Yeah, so issue 47 then. Spitfire battle. What does it say? So in this issue, a panel of fuselage is fitted to the inside of the model behind the wings. So fitting the fuselage panel, and that's all you got.
Okay, so let's have a look at the parts then. So yeah, we've only got 2 parts this week.
Yeah, fuselage panel, part 1.
Okay, bear with me. I'm really out of touch on this. You know, it's been so long since I've done this. Yeah. So what I've done is, because I've been I've opened up 4 issues ready to go, because you know I hate the sound of the packaging. So I've numbered all of the boxes, but this is what you get. That's a comparison with my hand side. And we get, what was the first part? 4701.
Yeah, 4701, which is fuselage panel.
And that is
classical
metal, painted green, which I suspect P40 is going to be jumping on at some point and going, you need to paint that green. Because as you know, I'm painting my model, but I'm not sure if that will be seen.
The 4702 is 4 EM 2x4mm screws, 1 spare.
Okay, so this is the screws, and 4 screws generally means that we're going to need 3, because they do like to give us a spare one. And here it is. I thought I'd lost my knife. So would you like to read the first instruction? I'll make that bigger for you, Chris, so that hopefully
I can do it on my monitor, so it's all right.
Yeah, no, it's I'll take up the whole screen with the instructions as well, so that other people can see it as well.
Yeah, right. Zoom that in a bit more. There we are. So step 1 is, with the model on the cardboard stand, identify the fixing point for the fuselage panel 47.1. On the fuselage panel 22.1, as indicated, the insert below shows the panel 47.1 in place.
Okay, so let's have a look. So I think it'll probably be easy if I switch the camera for this. So I'm going to be doing a lot of camera switches, I'm afraid.
And then we've got Fold Right. Fold Right says, hi Penny, it's been a while. I've seen you.
Oh, hello Paul, how are you? Thank you for the support. Paul has supported me for a very, very long time, and I'll never forget it. He supported me through the bus and all sorts. Right, so it looks slightly more complicated than it is, because you've got 3 fixing points here. 1, 2, 3. And you've got 5 holes there. But when you actually bring this on, you can see that these 2 holes are there. I'm sorry that it's a difficult view, but these 2, we ignore them, and we're going for these bottom 2 here to fix this panel on, and then this one comes up through the middle just to add a little bit extra support. So that's going to go on like that. And I think maybe I'm a little bit wary of this, because obviously this is only supported by cardboard, and we're doing screws into metal. So obviously if I pushed, I'm going to be pushing hard because it's metal, but it's only supported by cardboard. So I'm really going to support it from underneath. That's why I'm going to do this top screw first.
Yeah, and Adrian says you find that part painting metal silver.
Right, okay.
I don't know what it means by that, but
that's a weird screw, that is, because as I'm screwing it in, it actually feels like it's not screwing in, and then all of a sudden you find it's in really, really tight, and that is actually really tight just with the 1 screw. So I'll put it in like that, and then we'll go back over it. So then I'll do the other two. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing. It feels like it's not making any connection with the hull. You know when you screw a screw in, you can kind of feel the resistance it's giving, can't you?
Yeah.
This is not giving any resistance at all, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's in. So that's the 3 screws in. So I'm now going to go back over the screws again, and we'll give that. There we go. Because as I say, it's metal screws.
Yeah.
So we want to get these in nice and tight. And there we go. And that's it. Let's have a little test how strong this is, shall we? There you go. I'd say that's tight, isn't it?
Yeah. That's good.
I've said this before. One of the great things about these part works is they do normally put more screws in than you probably need. We could probably got away with 2 screws on that. But they do put that 3rd one in for extra security. So there we go. So our Spitfire has officially grown.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that I think is the end of that build, isn't it?
No, step 2 yet.
Oh, not step 2?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think I've just done step 2. So I'll let you read it, Chris.
Yeah, it's like Chris Kaplan, this is, right?
Yeah, no, it's you kind of, I don't care who you are, if you don't stream for a little while, you do lose your rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, so step 2 was fixed part 47.1 in place using 3 PM 2 times 4 mil screws, as shown above.
Okay. So that I've just done. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah, this is pretty true.
Bit of a lesson learned there. I just need to slow down a bit. Maybe I'm a little bit more eager than I thought I was. So let's have a bit of fun. No, we can't. I haven't. My cockpit's been. Yeah, right. That's the point. Actually, my cockpit isn't ready to go in. So if we actually reach a stage where I need to put the cockpit in, it means that I won't be able to build anymore. I know some people may build around a part that they're missing, but I really don't like to do that, because then you get. And that wasn't a dig at you if you've done that before, Chris. I don't know if you have.
Chris Campbell's done it for me fast when a friend.
Yeah, unless it's actually convenient to do that.
Yeah, that's right.
I worry about being in a muddle. Right, so that is issue 47 done.
Yeah,
I've got a feeling this is going to be much shorter than I thought it was going to be.
There's one part of the hull, which is a cable to control the left aileron, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Oh right, so I'll show you a preview before we go into it. Yeah. That's the part. So again, this is going to be really short as well. Love Minis, how are you, my good friend?
Yeah, hi, Love Minis. And then Mike Testo says hi, Love Minis.
Yeah, everybody loves Love Minis.
Yeah, and we've got 48 ready on the screen. Issue 48, which is in this issue, a cable for a cog attached to one end is supplied. This will be fitted in the future issue.
Oh. So basically, we've just done this issue just literally by taking the plastic off.
Yeah, cable assembly for the left aileron. Instead of 40
aileron. It's a tricky word. There's a lot of people who don't pronounce it, and I struggle with it sometimes. But it's aileron.
Yeah, and it's the 48.1 cable assembly for the left aileron, and that's it. That's it for this issue.
Okay, so let's see how how much time I could possibly fill in just on a single part. So what we have is a cable with a cog on the end, and there's obviously some kind of locating peg there.
Yeah.
And then we've got this, would you call that twisted cable? It's cable that's been twisted together to strengthen it. And I notice it's got this sleeve on it. And I know there's a word for that sleeve. And I would suspect there's a little channel going along here. So this is going to go into the wing. and this metal sleeve will sit on there. If we didn't have that sleeve, as it turns, that twisted cable is going to rub up against the plastic and wear it out. So what this is there for is just so as this goes round, it protects whatever this is sitting on. I know there's a name for this and I cannot remember, and I will bet any money that Love Minis will be the first one to come back with the correct terminology. I just can't think what it's called. It's just escapes me. So yeah, unfortunately, guys, that is issue 48.
And then 49.
Yeah, sorry. 49. Let's have a look at 49.
The cable and motor looks like was the label.
Yeah. So issue 49 is going to be a motor. Now, I would love. I mean, obviously these are old issues.
Yeah.
By much older than, I think they're about 10 odd weeks. About 15 weeks old. But I bet a lot of people complained about this. And one of the things we've got to sort of realize is that some issues we're going to get maybe a more technical piece, and then some issues we're going to get a lot of pieces, a lot of cheap pieces. And we have had some recent issues where we've got big chunks, big wing panels. And maybe that's the problem. We get an issue with a really big piece. It's not everything costs the same amount per inch. Some parts are more expensive, and I suppose there's some people that would rather have a motor, and some people would rather have big chunks of plastic. But in the overall scheme of the build, we're all going to get a bit of something, aren't we? So minis. Is that what it's actually called, Mini? It's not twisted cable, it's just called rope, or is it roped cable? Cable rope. But I wonder what this little collar is called.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's called a collar.
Yeah.
So issue 49 then.
Yeah, issue 49.
What are we doing, Chris?
You are.
What are we doing, Chris?
Yeah, a motor and cable to control the left aileron together with a label for the cable. So basically,
do you know what? Why does the term cable label always make me giggle?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's one of those phrases that it's not like when people say at the dinner table and they have a chicken, they say, "Are you a leg or a breast man?" So it's not like innuendo or anything. Bushing. Love Minis has said bushing. It's not like it's an innuendo or anything. It's just maybe it's because it rhymes.
Yeah. And then so we've got part 49.1, motor and cable.
Lovely. So let me move it to this view so you can see the parts. So part 49.1. Now that looks to me, Love Minis would know more than this because she knows so much about electronics. Yeah. That's obviously a geared motor because it's got gears in it, which obviously changes the ratios and the torque. But I would suspect that because this is going to be going near the flaps, it's a motor that's going backwards and forwards. I would guess that's a stepper motor. Not an ordinary DC motor, or there's three kind of motors, and I'm so out of touch with this, but I think this is a stepper motor. And what a stepper motor is, it's controlled by magnets, and it can give very precise movements backwards and forwards by moving this magnetic field around. Whereas a DC motor is literally give it power and it goes round. Give it power, change the terminals around, and it goes the other way. This is actually capable of going backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong because I don't know an awful lot about electronics. I've dabbled with Arduinos and things, and it is quite literally a dabble. Yeah. So, but this is got 4 wires on it as well. So that's another reason why I think it might be a stepper motor, because they tend to have more more wires. Servo, that's the other motor, isn't it?
Yeah.
So DC motors just tend to go round and round. Stepper motors are very precise movements. Servos tend to just go that. In fact, that could be a servo, but it doesn't look like any servo I've dealt with. And it's got a little tip in it as well. So Love Minis have said yes. So that would suggest to me maybe it is a stepper motor. So sorry. What's the next one?
Towards cable label.
Cable label. So that's the cable label. One label with a little gap in the middle. So obviously what we're going to do is we're going to fold that around the label.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So would you like to give us step 1 of 1?
Yeah, just so basically remove the cable label 492 from the backing. Wrap the label around the cable on the motor 491 close to the connector as indicated blue arrow. And that's it.
Lovely. So I'm going to switch the view to here because although it's not the best camera and it seems to be a little bit blue, I think it's probably going to give us a better view. So I've got the cable here and it says M1 on it. So I guess that would stand for motor number 1. And what I'm going to do is just place it. I place my labels roughly about a fingertip away from the connector. The reason being is I'm probably going to be putting that in like that. Yeah. And if the cable is right up the end, I do run the risk of knocking it off when I'm going to be putting it in. So, and I'm just going to pop that. But half of the white on the label, on the wire, sorry, and half off. And just like that. I mean, it doesn't really matter how the label goes on, as long as it goes on, so that when we come to connect it, we know that this is M1 and not M2 or anything else. And we obviously need to put this in a safe place. So I think in the box with last week's part would be as safe as anything, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So what is the next page then? It's really good in this one. It's all about
issue 50.
Issue 50. So what do we got in issue 50 then?
Building Spitfire, the cable and motor supplied with the previous issues are fitted to the model. Well, good job, right there. 50 we're looking for now.
Lovely. So we've got parts and we've got screws and we've got lots of screws. So it looks like we're going to be doing quite a bit of work in this one.
Yeah.
So Love Minis has said stepper. And then she says servo has very controlled. So that variable control speed. Because I've normally known, I think a servo has about a 200-degree arc normally, or 200 about 3/4 of a circle. I might be wrong, and I can't get this out of the box.
You've done yourself better.
Yeah, it's just that, I mean, you can't complain about these because these parts aren't going to fall out in transit, are they?
No.
So just bear with me. I'm just what I used to do was, as I would be building the part works, I'd be just popping all of the rubbish on the floor next to me with the intention of scooping it up when I finish building. But what happens with all this packaging, the pile builds up very, very quickly. And I've actually got, you know what Amazon are like? They send you a pen, or you buy a pen and they send it in a 50-foot box. So I've got a big Amazon box, which I now chuck everything into the box. And when the box is full, because we have a separate recycling bin, I can just tip it straight into the bin downstairs.
Yeah.
But if I don't put bits and bobs in the bin straight away, my desk gets cluttered. Although it's a large desk now, it gets cluttered extremely quickly.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at issue 50 then. If you can.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think at this rate, I just want to throw this out to people. We were looking at doing 4+ issues. We're now on issue 4 within 35 minutes of the stream.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the issues 51, 52, and 53 are going to be pretty much identical to what we've just done.
Yeah.
And that will be 7 issues. So I reckon if we did that, that'll take us to about 7 to 7:30. Shall we stop there and call it a good day? 7 issues in one stream is extremely good, isn't it? And although I'm finishing much earlier than anticipated, I think it would have taken a lot in, and then I can start looking at doing stuff for tomorrow. And I really don't know how long tomorrow's stream is going to be. So I'm going to just throw that out there while we build this next few issues, because now we've got a gauge of how long the next 3 issues are going to take to build. But tally ho, pip pip, and off we go.
Issue 50, Spitfire, issue 50, right. In this issue, you'll be fitting the cable and motor for the left aileron to the model. And
okay.
The part list. Here.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So it'll be 50, that's my age, no joking, 51 cog for the left aileron.
So I just seen a comment from Mike.
Yeah, and I have, yeah.
See how you feel at 7:30. If you have spare time, you can both do a duet. I can tell you that the only competition when it comes to singing is which one of us is the worst singer, Chris. I really don't know. We're both. You don't mind me saying that I think you're an absolutely awful singer, do you?
No, but I have practiced loads of songs there, so if I got the words in
sorry, what I mean by that is I think you're an awful singer, and I think I'm even worse than you. So, right, okay. So what do we got for parts then for issue 50?
Part 51, which is cog for the left aileron.
Okay, so basically what it is a shaped piece of. Sorry, let me just. That's absolutely terrible. Right, this camera I've got is cheap and it's manual focus, but it's actually really good for the money. But because it's fixed focus, you need to figure out.
That's funny.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is a metal piece with a little plastic cog, and as you can see from this, it's a screw thread. And as I turn it, I've got my fingernail in the thread, and it just basically it's a screw thread. So obviously, as this controls something, it's going to push something backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Okay, so 52
support block. I mean, not black as soft.
Yeah, so I read it as back. So this is the support block, and I noticed it's got the letter L on it, and it's metal. So this is going to make the wing look a little bit meaty, I think.
No.
Okay, so 50 and 5003.
53, which is motor bracket.
Right, so obviously because of the title of the piece, that's where the motor is going to sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's got an L on it as well.
Yeah. And 4 is end bracket.
End bracket. So this is it. Now this is a very small piece, and I can see that going flying.
Yeah.
It's got this little block bit on the end, and just like all the other, it's got a little locating tab on it, so that's useful. And there we go. It's got the letter L on it. So if we were to open 6 weeks worth or 7 weeks worth of parts, we could still identify these from the ones that are going to go on the other side.
And then part 5 is 3 p.m. 1.6 times 3 mil screws, 1 spare.
Right. Okay, so we've got some short. There's not a lot of difference in the length. 0.4 millimeters in length, and there's 1 millimeter in difference in the width. So let's have a little look. So there you go. It's very, very hard to tell the difference between the two, but there is a fairly clear difference. You can see on camera, it's actually on camera, it looks more similar than it is, to be fair, but you can see that this is the shorter one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dig into my box of rubbish, and I'm going to get 2 pieces of rubbish that could serve me well. There we go. So I've just got 2 old bits of container, and then the short one can go into there and the long one in there, and that's a short. Well, I think the easiest thing to do is pop one that you know in your palm of your hand, pop another one in, and do that as a comparison. Let's do short on the left and long on the right. That's a long one I can see, and then that's a long one. Right, so I've got 3 short and 6 long.
Yeah,
correct.
6 PM 2x4 mil screws.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I've sorted those out, so they're ready to go. So all I need now is for your expert instruction.
Oh, cool. Right, so step 1 then. Identify the position for the support block 52 on the inside of the fuselage panel 22.1. Close to the part focus end 1, the insert above shows the part in place.
Right, okay, so the part we're looking, I've switched to overhead view, and I apologise if the view is difficult to see, but we want the left hand side, and the identifying mark for me is this piece here.
Yeah,
I can clearly see that's a fuselage piece we put in a few weeks earlier. If you remember, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. There were 2 screws that we ignored, and I can see that it's one of the screws that we ignored. So if I get this motor block,
yeah,
and support block, and also I can see that the L is down there. So it's going to go in that position. You can see the L is there, and then there's the hole for the screw.
Yeah.
And look at that. That was almost like that was made to fit.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, and that is a really good fit, as it always tends to be, actually, for Harshep parts. I will give them that. So I think that's stage 1 done. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, you?
I'm very happy, yeah.
That's good. Step 2 then, is it?
Yep, step 2. Oh, sorry, you want the screen now, don't you?
You can do that if you want. Right, step 2 is fix the support block 52 in place with 2 PM 2x4 mil screws as shown below.
Right, okay, so I'm just going to make sure I'm not in a muddle with the screws. The
longer ones,
2x4 mil, the second set of screws, which I've got 6 of. So that's going to be this set of screws there. So I'll just pick 2 of them up. And what I'm going to do, normally what I do is I just pop the first one in until it bites.
Yeah, exactly what I do as well.
Yeah. And then I pop the second one in. And then that way, if I've made a mistake, I can unscrew those. But also, now that those are in there just enough to bite, you see it is very loose, but it's not going to go anywhere.
No.
So now I'm going to make sure I got my fingers underneath, because I'm going to be pushing down onto cardboard.
Yeah.
So we'll do this one in as far as it'll go. And again, just like before, it feels like I'm screwing into fresh air, but then all of a sudden it just goes home. So the second one, oh, now this one, now that's quite deceiving. That one took considerably more turns to tighten than the first one, than the second one, but it just kind of catches you off guard a bit. Right, and then just check that. And the question you're always asking yourself, guys, is, am I happy with that? I honestly believe that piece is not going to go anywhere. Yeah. So let me just bring that up to the camera so you can see what I've done. Yeah, that piece there. So there you go. So if you want to read out stage 2, I'll just catch up with the chat. Mike says we can do a trio then. Teresa says I'm bad.
Yeah, I was laughing at it, yeah.
She says I don't sing, I howl. I think she doesn't appreciate good singing. Yeah. I got caught singing in the shower. And someone said to me, I thought you said you don't sing. I said, I didn't say I don't sing. I said I can't sing. Right. So step 3 then.
Yeah. Position the cable assembly 48-1 along the rear edge of the left wing as indicated. See also the following 2 steps. Note that the aileron is tipped down slightly.
Note that the aileron is tipped down slightly. Right, okay then. So, yeah, I'm starting to suspect that that's why we've got a little tab.
Yeah.
I think, does it say which? Yeah. Position the cable assembly 48-1 along the rear edge of the left wing, as indicated. Also see the following 2 steps. Right, as it's saying, see also the first 2 steps.
Yeah, we'll read into them now.
If you read those out as well.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't hurt to look ahead.
Yeah. Number 4, which says insert the small block on the end of the cable 48-1 into the square socket in the left aileron.
Right. Okay. In step 5.
Yeah. 5 alive.
5 alive. Johnny 5.
Yeah. Fit the neck of the cog on the other end of the cable 48-1 into the recess in the support block 52 as indicated. Ensure any previously fitted wires are clear of the cable.
Right. And I'm going to ask you to read step 6 as well. It will become apparent why.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, right. Step 6.
Right. Yeah.
This shows the cog of part 48-1 in place in the support block. Note that the tab on the neck of the cog circled should be upwards and the ailerons slightly downwards. If this is not the case, reinsert the cable into the ailerons so that it is in the correct position.
Right. So what I'm going to do this slightly cockeyed. I'm going to do a test fit first. So we have this tab, and it looks like this tab is there to make sure we get it in the correct start position.
Yeah.
So with the tab up and this little sleeve, I'm going to place the sleeve on there. I'm going to place the cog into there, but if you notice, I'm not putting the other end into the flap. There is a very good reason for that. As one, I don't know how tight that hole is. I may not get that out if I put it in wrong, but if I focus on what this looks like, then I can bring this flap up, and now I can start to see this square end on the end there compared to the square end.
Yeah.
With that. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to just holding this collar down, I'm going to bring this cog up and out of the little housing. I'm just going to pull it back a little bit so that it's very hard to see, and I do apologize, but the little end of the wire isn't quite touching the flap. With this held down, I can then bring this up so that the flap is in position to meet up with that.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to turn that slightly, and now I can see the exact position we require. So that is a fairly stiff fit, but it needs to thread in a little bit. Now I am confident that that is spot on. I've taken a little bit longer, I know, and I'm sure there's people that have done that a lot quicker and got it absolutely spot on. But there's 2 things that I'm concerned with, and that is the words. Hang on, I've lost area. Right, in step 3, it says note that the aileron is tipped down slightly. And then when you combine that with step 6, it said note that the tab on the neck of the cog should be upwards and the aileron slightly downwards. So that is upwards.
Yeah.
And this is, it's actually not slightly downwards. It is actually. It's, when I say slightly downwards, that's the wing and the aileron is like that.
Yeah.
It's not much slightly downwards. Whether that makes mine incorrect, I don't know. But can you see that, guys, that I'm moving this cog? And that little tab on there, there's two. Let me bring this up. So we've got the tab on there, but we've also got 2 little stoppers there as well. Let me get the screwdriver. So just there and just there, there's little stoppers. So it's limited the amount of travel the wing gets. It can only go that far up and it can only go that far down. And that gives us this much movement on the flap.
Yeah.
So as it's a square, if we readjusted it so that it's in a different position, that's going to move that wing 90 degrees up or 90 degrees down. And I think if we moved that 90 degrees, that would be so obviously wrong, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. I'm really, really happy with that. Right. So do you think these, are you happy with that as a viewer? As you know, as an outsider, not the person building.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. I'm really happy with that. You know, if I designed this, and I'm not saying I'm a great designer, I'm smart or anything, but I'm not design stupid, but I really don't think I could come anywhere close to anything like this. So I really do know, I am not regretting my decision to build this Spitfire, you know. Okay. I think it's absolutely smashing. And I bet there's a lot of people who aren't building it that might be regretting it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. So, do you want to have a look at stage 7? Because there is a stage 7. In fact, there's a stage 12 as well. How good is that?
Stage 7 then, right, is take the motor bracket 53 and the motor and cable 491 from the previous issue. Fit the shaft of the motor through the hole in the bracket as indicated. Ensure that you have the motor in the correct orientation.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Not a problem. So what we have got is, sorry, I didn't bring the instructions up. I do. I do apologize. So we've got this bracket. We've got the 90 degree part is facing away from me as per the magazine orientation. We've got this little like a little humpback bridge. I'm really, the words are escaping me how to describe things. I do apologize, but that's towards me. So if, for example, this was pointing down or that was away from me, we know we've got it in the wrong position. And then the motor is going to come in through that hole. And I noticed that on the far side of the motor, we've got the little circuit board and we've got wire. So I know that it's going to come in like that. And then obviously you've got 2 holes there, which are obviously going to be screw holes. And we've got 2 screw holes there. So that is how I believe that is coming in. So, and step 2, we know step 8, we know what's coming, don't we?
Yeah, do you read that one up?
Yes, please.
Yeah, fix the bracket 53 to the end of the motor 491 using 2 PM 1.63 mil screws to ensure that the holes align correctly. Partially fit both screws before fully tightening them. To check the orientation of the motor, we have indicated the circuit board with a blue arrow.
Okay, so I had spotted that circuit board.
Yeah.
For the benefit of the people that may not have actually looked at that part, they have clearly indicated for it, which is brilliant. You know, it's one of those things that if you've already seen it, it doesn't do any harm.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest problem we've got here really is getting that first screw in, because as you know, human beings are only designed with 2 hands, and sometimes we just need 3 or 4 hands. So I'm going to have a little dry run. I think I'm going to have to hold it like that so that the screw, I'm holding it like this with 1 hand. But before I do that, I'm going to get one of the screws and I'm going to get it loaded up onto my screwdriver. And I think a magnetic screwdriver would help here, so then you can operate it one-handed. My particular screwdriver's got a flat back,
Yeah,
so I can place it like that. And I only need to get that 1 screw in, because once that 1 screw is in, it's then going to hold that on, and then it's a lot easier to get the second one in. So, I'm actually trying to line this hole up with that screw hole there that they've already put in, and that will explain why. Right, I think that is perfect there. Sorry, am I still in camera? Right. So it's still a little bit off, and you see that it's not straight, but the screw hole's lined up. And all I need to do, I've only got that just enough to bite. That's fine. It's a lot easier to deal with. So now we'll get the second screw ready.
Yeah.
And then this is a lot easier to deal with now. And then we'll pop the second screw in. Right. And that didn't want to go in very easily. Is that me or is it the screw hole? So I'm just going to loosen the first one a bit, because maybe it's gone in at a slight angle. Maybe the plate on the motor isn't quite straight. You know, maybe 10 different things. There we go. That's done it. Sometimes if the 2 pieces of metal coming together aren't exactly flat, it's going to be difficult to screw it in. But screwing it in is going to flatten those pieces of metal. One good thing about these parts being made in China is, you know, that this isn't toughened steel. So there we go. Can you see how now all along that motor is exactly flush?
Yeah.
And so let's just do a quick go back to stage 7, comparing it to stage 7, sorry. So we've got our 90-degree plate there. We've got our little humpback bit there. We've got the motor with the circuit board on the far side. And we've got our wire with our cable labeled HE on the end there coming out to the right. And I would say that's that stage complete. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I'm now thinking how on earth that's going
to... It's not yet, is it? The stage, stage 8 is complete, isn't
it? That's stage 8. Did I jump? Yeah, no, we just read out stage 8, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So stage 9 then.
Yeah. When I said stage, I thought you was on, but the magazine were. Take the cog 51 and fit it in onto the end of the shaft of the motor 49.1. It is a loose fit and will be held in place by the end bracket. See step 9. Right.
Okay, so sometimes when you look at these parts, you're like, okay, they've given us these parts. I know what it's probably going to do, but I've got no idea how it's going to go together. But we'll just go along with it. But now it all makes sense. So the end on this motor is not a circle. You can see it's got 2 flat ends. And this is exactly the same. You see it's flattened on 2 sides. So there's only 2 positions you can place this in. There's that way, or there's that way. And that just goes in there like that. And all that's going to do is, as that motor goes around, it's going to turn those cogs. Simple as that. So It is loose, look, so be very careful. So I would perhaps just pop that down on the table now, and then we can look at the next part. And Love Mini says it's probably, well, it's a bunch of people who designed it.
So
yeah, I suppose everybody just puts their little bit in, and then, you know, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole kind of situation.
Well, this magazine's gone cuckoo at the minute.
Gone cuckoo. It's yeah. Can you scroll it down just a little bit? There we go. Oh yeah, you drag, do you?
No, I usually just the button on the mouse.
No, that's fine. However works best for you, Chris.
Looking for the refresh button. Let me just bring this magazine refresh it a minute. It says page has gone cooked.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Get yourself into a nice, comfortable position. You can work from there then.
So step 10, are we?
Yep.
Take the end bracket 54 and fit it over the end of the shaft of the cog 51. And at the same time, a peg at the base of part 54 fits into the hole in the bracket 53. Fixed in place with a PM2 times 4mm screw. Right. It says right on there some reason.
Oh, right, as in that's the box on the right. Yeah. Okay, so I'd made the observation earlier on that this is a locating peg, and I can now see that locating peg is going to go. There's two holes there. Ignore that hole for now. There's two holes there. The smaller one is a locating peg, and the larger hole is a screw hole. And although I noticed that little blob sticking out there, what I didn't look at was the hole on the other side. And I can now see that's going to go over there, and that's going to hold that cog in place. So it's going to be ever so slightly fiddly, as you can see, mainly due to the size of my fingers. Yeah. And I think the easiest way to do this, looking at it, maybe get it into position how you want. Put it over the cog. Yeah. And then bring that locating peg into place. That will leave that screw hole there. And then obviously that's going to be the 2x4mm. Be a little bit careful. That is trying to jump. If it's jumpy too much, what you could do is put a big piece of masking tape around there. Leave that hole there exposed. But I'm not going to do that. But what I should have done, and I should do every single stage, and I never do, I should actually get my 2x4mm screw ready on my screwdriver before I put these pieces together. Because what I think is going to be easier, once I've got that into position, I'm going to hold that down with my thumb. So that's not going to move. Now I can grab my screwdriver with my screw loaded up, and in it goes. And once again, it's like screwing into air. Now, I have a slight concern. I often have a slight concern, and it comes to nothing. But I've screwed this in really tight, and the screw on the other end, can you see that it's actually gone through? Look, and it's protruding. Now, quite often I raise an area of concern, and by the time we get to fixing this to wherever it's going, it's really not a concern at all. But I have spotted that screw. So really, but then again, if it does protrude, I suppose there's nothing wrong with getting a little file and just taking the end off there. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm only going to do it if we have to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is step 11 then?
It's like bingo at legs 11.
Legs 11?
Yeah.
That's how it goes. They've changed all the numbers on the bingo now, haven't they? They've modernized them. So yeah, apparently it's to try and attract a younger crowd to bingo, because
I don't mind this myself.
Yeah, right. Okay, step 11. Do you want me to read that, or are you comfortable reading that, Chris?
I'm good. I am.
Right. Okay, then fire away.
I'm trying to fix my extra beer. ensure that the rectangular peg on the part 48.1 is pointing upwards circled. This means that the aileron will be tipped slightly downwards. Fit the motor and cog assembly from step 10 over the cog on the end of the cable 481. Has cog. Oh, I missed a bit there.
As indicated.
Yeah, an opening in the bracket 53 fits over the cog on cable 481 so that the teeth engage with the cog 51. Holes in the bracket 53 align with screw sockets in the support block 52 as indicated.
Right. So all these observations I made have really now started to make sense. I apologize, the camera's terrible. Right, so the orientation of the magazine is actually this way round because the L is down the bottom. And the situation we've got is we have this little hole in the bottom of the bracket, and that's going to enable to see this cog there. That's going to come through there. If you imagine my fingernail is the cog, that's going to come through there and engage with the screw thread there. We've got the little humpback bit there, which is going to go over the cog. You see, we've got the collar there, so it's just going to enable it to just jump over it. And then we've got, let me see if I've got this the right way round. Right, so we've got two screw holes there, which is then going to line up with, hang on, I've got to get my orange, right. So it's actually going to go that way. So these two screw holes, if you turn your Spitfire, rotate it anti-clockwise, so it's pointing at 9 o'clock, and then the L is coming down at 12 o'clock. This is then going to go at 3 o'clock with the wire going up at 12 o'clock. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Propellers, right, wire 12 o'clock, rotate to 9 o'clock, and the wings coming down to 6 o'clock. So that will go over like that. Now, the important thing is the little tab on the cog. I'm going to put it halfway between the stoppers. I think that's how it's indicated. If it's wrong, I know how to fix it. And that's going to go over like that. And what have I just forgotten to do, Chris? No, it doesn't matter because that's the next step. Okay. Right. So, no, I was going to say I forgot to load my screwdriver up. But I haven't forgotten because it hasn't told us to do it. Right. So that is how that's going to go on. So the motor is going to, or this block is going to be going backwards towards the tail. And that's how it goes. And I can see that looks like it's engaging. But I also think I had that wrong. I think it just slipped upwards a little bit. So it might, I'm just going to move my camera just slightly.
Yeah.
But as I'm engaging this motor, I'm using the flap to just move this cog. But once I put this on, don't be tempted to move this flap too much. Because you're working against this motor, and that's going to go on. But because of this wire and everything, it's going to be trying to pop off anyway until we get to stage 12, which is the next step.
Yeah. Step 12 ready for that, you?
Yep, I'm all ready for step 12.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, right. Step 12, fix the bracket 5003 in to the support block 52 with 2 PM 2 times 4 mil screws. The body of the motor is over part 471, and it's got in capital. It says it's got a bit down below. It says note: the last two line diagrams show the view from above the left wing, where step 1 to 6 show the the view from behind the rear edge of the wing. That's easy enough.
Fantastic. Right. So, yeah, basically, there's a long-winded way of saying pop 2 screws in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this motor in place, and the way that I want to hold it, I want to see which screw is going to be easier for me to get to. The hard bit is getting the first screw in. Once you got the first screw in, it's going to hold it down a bit, and it'll make the second screw easier. And I think it's going to be easier if I hold it there and put the screw in closest to the L. Yeah. So look, I've got my screw ready on the screwdriver.
That's good.
Can you believe that? So we'll just pop that in just enough to bite.
Yeah.
And there, look, you see it's connected. So now, before I put that second screw in, I just want to check the whole mechanism. It's worth taking a few extra seconds here. The motor is held down. This flap is in the slightly down position. It's not quite flush with the wing, which is what it was saying in the previous issues. Yeah. So now that that's in, I can now hold it a little bit better. I'll put this second screw in, because this screw is the last screw. I can drive this one all the way home, and I want to just support it underneath, because remember it's on cardboard.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to just check the first one, or finish the first one off, and this one can go in as hard as I want.
Yeah.
And then I'll just double check the last one, and that is not moving. I can see another area of concern, which isn't really a problem. Can you see where that motor board is?
Yeah.
Very, very close to the fuselage. Now, mine's got clearance, but I would suggest if you haven't got clearance, you've either not put this fuselage piece in, or you've not put the motor in. So keep a careful eye on that motor board, because these circuit boards are really, really fragile. If you end up screwing that down and it's not engaging properly, it's going to snap it off.
Yeah.
So just be very careful there. And then I would say that's step 12 done.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be extra.
Yeah. So that's 4 issues done.
Yeah.
And we know the next 3 issues are going to be exactly the same as the last 3 issues, but on the other side. So I'm going to propose that we don't read the instructions out. We just dive straight in. I will follow the instructions and tell you what I'm doing, but it'll be more of a jogging your memory kind of a build.
Yeah.
And then we'll call the show to an end. I didn't realize I'd get through these so quickly. And then tomorrow, instead of starting at 6 o'clock, if we start at 8 o'clock, and if we only get 2 issues done, that's then 9 issues in 2 days. And I think that's a sizable chunk, isn't it?
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So if we change the time of tomorrow's stream to 8 o'clock, and then we aim to finish at 10 o'clock, I think that will be a good show. We'll do as many as we can in that 2 hours. And like I say, even if we only get 1 or 2 issues done, that'll still, if we only got 1 issue done, that's 8 issues in 2 days. And I think that would be a good job. So, right. Bear with me a sec, guys. I'm going to be making some horrible noises. I really hate packaging. So I do apologize. So I'm going to get issue 51.
So we're waiting his next. Do we need to bring his on screen or we okay?
No, I'll just go through them.
Okay, no worries.
Because they are exactly the same as the previous 3 issues. And you know, 51 and 52 will literally be done within a minute. And then obviously I will make it clear that so issue 51 is a mirror image of issue 48, sorry. So this is issue 51, and this is the cable assembly for the right aileron. So, and of course we'll build this a lot quicker because we've just had a little practice run on the left, haven't we? So this is the right aileron. So there we have our cog.
Yeah.
There we have our little tab. We've got our little collar there, and we've got our square connector on the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that is issue 51 done. Yeah. So just to show you, look, there's issue 48. There's issue 51.
Yeah.
So they are exactly the same. So that's 51 done.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I don't have an issue with those being I don't have a problem with those being so short, because you got to remember that 47, 48, 49 and 50 all came in the same pack. So although 3 of them, one issue is just literally put 3 screws in, then you've got 2 issues, which is practically looking at the parts. And then the last issue of the pack is putting it all together. When it's all brought together, you don't mind then. And what we're doing now is the first 3 issues of the next pack.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what the last issue of the pack is like at the time of speaking. Yeah. And although we're now doing a duplicate, practically a duplicate, we know what that last issue is like, and that's where all the excitement is. So we've got 52.1, which is the motor and the cable. Yeah. And then we've got 52.2, which is a cable label. And that surprised me there. The cable label is M4, and the opposite aileron was M1, if you remember.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, that surprised me. I was expecting M2. So, I guess M2 and M3 is going to be... Oh, sorry, I'm doing it at the wrong end. Remember, it's got to be the end. And my personal preference, I like it about a finger width away from the end, just to prevent a bit of wear and tear when I plug this into the circuit board.
Yeah.
And that is issue 52 complete. And just like before, I'm going to pop that into there like that. Now, I feel like I'm rushing, but I'm not. It's because I've done this before. Obviously, it's a little bit easier this time. And I think to explain everything to you all in great, massive detail is almost going to be a bit of an insult, isn't it? Because you've just sat there and listened to it in the last 10 minutes. But I'm just going to have a quick mouthful of drink.
You're in a whiskey? I don't know.
Do you know what? I'm not a big whiskey fan. There's a couple of spirits that I do like. Yeah. But obviously, do you know, this will make you laugh. I don't understand all of this science about how much alcohol you can have and how long it takes to get out of your system before you're allowed to drive again. So I just keep it really simplistic, and I don't drink if I'm driving within 24 hours. The downside of that means is that because I'm usually driving at least 6, sometimes 7 days a week, I don't ever drink. And when I was young, I would think nothing of going for a few hours of playing pool and having 8 double Bacardis and Coke in a night, and I wasn't even drunk. And now, the other day, my lodger, she got herself a bottle of wine, and we don't have wine glasses. We've just got little juice glasses.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, do you want a glass of wine?" I went, "Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I'll have a glass." And she gave me a little tiny glass of wine, and I drank half of it. It was only that Blossom Hill. That's a cheap wine.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. I had half a glass, and I was a little bit tipsy. It was, and I just thought, well, I've obviously not. I'm not ashamed to get drunk really quickly, because, you know, if you get to a point in your life where you need a bottle of whiskey every night just to manage, that's not the best position to be in. And here's me, I can get tipsy on a little glass of wine. I mean, maybe I hadn't eaten, but right. So quick checklist. 53.1 is the cog for the right aileron. So there's a little piece of metal with some plastic cog on.
Yeah.
Number 2 is this piece here, support block, and that's gone in upside down, but I can see the R on it. 53.3 is the motor bracket. Excuse me.
Perfect.
53.4 is the end bracket, and 53.5 is the. So again, we've got to sort these screws out again.
Yeah.
But we've done it once before. I'm going to be really brave. Instead of distorting them into 2 pots, I'm going to sort them into 1 pot and have them on one side and then on the other.
I'm pleased with myself now.
Pardon?
I'm pleased now.
You're pleased? Why are you pleased?
My extra one seems to be working better now since I've done a little... Because I had a wobble in the wheel, and it was.
Oh, have you just tightened the screw up?
Yeah, you know the big front.
Quite often it is. That's all it is.
Yeah,
you could have
right now.
You know, you might have to put 17 screws in, and if one of them isn't quite tight enough, the whole thing wobbles.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Step 1, and this is made easier by the fact that we've done the previous side, so we already know which way it's going to go. Are you all right there, Chris?
Yeah, just trying to tidy the desk as well.
Yeah. So we know that the connection points are going to be there and there because we know that from the other side. We know that on the L, that's going that way. Yeah. So the R is going to go that way. So there's our piece. So we place that in like so. Voila. So step 2 is just to pop the 2x4mm screws in. So 1 screw ready, and then we can just screw whichever side we want, and I think that's going to be the easy side. Did I do that one before that one on the previous side?
I can't remember to do. You might have.
Right, go. And that's just enough to bite. So yeah. Plenty of wobble, but that's because we haven't finished screwing it in. So, and we've finished that off with a 2nd screw. Do I sound like I'm rushing? I feel like I'm rushing, but I'm not trying to. My absolute gut, whatever I say my number 1 rule is, my actual number 1 rule is never ever rush it. You know, if you haven't got time to build it, don't even start it.
Yeah.
You know, get a nice, you know, saying, oh, I've got 5 minutes to do it. Yeah, don't even start it because you're then putting yourself under pressure.
That's not going to under pressure.
Yeah. Right, so that bracket's in there like that. That's really good. I like that. That's nice and hard. So the next step is that we want this aileron cable. And again, we're working opposite. Now, as you can see from there, I've masking taped this wire down to keep it neat. But now I've gone over this little channel. So that needs to be removed. So what I will do, I'm going to carefully lift this up. See where yes, lovely. See my landing light there?
Yeah.
What do you need
now, all you need now is pen is it aircraft hanger?
Yes. Well, I believe this comes with a base. I believe it's a 120-week part work, but it's only 100 weeks to do the aircraft and 20 to do the base. Right, so there we go. So I've still got my wires taped down. That's just my personal preference, just to keep it neat. So what I'm going to do now, same as I did before, you notice I pulled this through too far towards the middle, right? And I've got this, so the tab is up. I then want to bring this flap up so slightly low. Then I can just, actually that's made easy for us. There's a little stud mark on that side there, but there's no, there's a stud mark on that side. So if we have a look at this, and I didn't notice that stud mark on the other side, but I can now see that that stud mark should be up. So I can cheat now. I can, whoops, make sure the tab is up, and then we push that stud mark into there. And I'm only going to push it in. Oh, I tried to push it a little bit, but that really want to go in. So that collar can come up. And like I say, that collar is there to protect wear and tear against this plastic. If you imagine that you have this for years, this is going to be going up and down a lot. It's going to rub against that plastic. That is, yeah, that is ever so slightly down again when compared to the wing. So I would say that's good. And just bear with me a sec. This desk is a little bit lower than I normally have, and I'm standing. It's all it is just a piece of board placed over a table. A custom one, and it's a little bit lower than what I'm used to, and it means that because I'm standing up to build this, it means I'm bending over, and my back is just aching a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm just standing up. I'm just doing a couple of twists. Just you
do that song, you let's twist again.
My back. So I do apologize. Oh, I couldn't do that fast. No, I'm just giving my back a bit of movement. Otherwise, you know, you only get one back, don't you? So right, that's fine. Better. It's not because I'm standing wrong anyway. Love Mini says storm hair. Dave Mack says stay dry, Love Minis. I worry about Love Minis, especially when it's stormy, because I know what her house looks like, and I'm just worried it's going to be like Wizard of the Oz, and the whole house just blows off in a storm, and we'll never see her again. That keeps me up at night. Dave Mack says you're going at a nice steady pace. Yeah, I'm gonna. Hang on, let me just read this. John's model mate. Got to leave you all now. Good luck with the build. Thank you, John. Dave, please tell me if you think I'm going too quickly. It's just that obviously this part we've done it already. So I'm just sort of, it's more of a jogging as we go.
Yeah.
And then I can see that we've done all the way up to stage 6 now, haven't we? So the next step, then, we've seen this before. We've got this piece. So whereas we had this piece up at night. Sorry?
It's repetitive, isn't it? Them some of the issues.
Right. So we've got this. Yeah. So we've got this piece going up at 90 degrees, but instead of the little bridge on this side, it's now going to be on the opposite side because it's the right-hand side. And then we've got the motor, and instead of I can't even position it. Instead of the circuit board being away from us, it's actually now going to be towards us. And this now looks odd because I can see how it's that's why they look different. I thought, you see how this left motor comes and the wire goes down.
Yeah.
And I thought it would come up. And then the right hand motor will go down and then come up. So you'd have two wires like that. I was actually wrong. Let me just check I have got this correct. What's going to happen is this wire is going to coming out at the bottom into the middle. This wire is coming out at the top.
Yeah.
So that's going to give them clearance. So that's where things are well thought out. So what have I forgotten to do, Chris?
Screw ready.
Got my screw ready, yeah. So there's my screwdriver ready, loaded up. I'll put it there where you can see. Oops. Don't do that because your screw falls off your screwdriver.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm holding it exactly. So the little bridge is going away from me. The wires are coming towards me. There's our screw holes, sorry. And there we go. I think that's how I'm going to hold it. Doesn't matter which one goes in first, but so you might as well do the easy one first. And there we go. That's just enough to bite. Now that's a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah.
So second screw can go in. Oh, you know, I think we've taken a good place to stop actually, because my back is playing up today. I don't normally have back issues. I normally try to look after my. Yeah. In fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if how this works. I'm going to take a seat. It means I've got to work a little bit further away from me. Right. So again, that's having a little bit of trouble meeting. So I'm going to loosen that first screw. Yeah. I think if you don't quite get that in going right, it doesn't go flat. So
yeah.
There we go. That's a lot better. So yeah, be a bit careful with it. If it's not going in easy, just loosen off the other screw. If you screw one screw in too much, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to try and have that effect. Whereas if you keep the screws level, you want to bring them in flat, like so. So I know it's Dave Mack says I will do. Obviously I'm doing this to show you guys what I'm doing, and if you can't follow along, just say, and I don't mind explaining. Right, so I've got those two screws in as tight as I can, bearing in mind that I'm holding this geared motor. I don't want to hold it so tight that I snap it, but I'm happy with that stage. The next two steps is to place this cog on. Remember, we've got two flat sides to this motor, and we've got two flat sides to this, the female part. And that's just going to go in like that. And I'm actually going to take that off again until I put the next part in. And I'm just going to get the screw ready. So we will be fixing this next piece on with a 2x4 screw. So that's on my screwdriver ready. And I just noticed I've instantly got up again. Right. So the cog going on like that. And if you remember before, I said it's easier to pop the end bracket onto the cog first. I'll rephrase that. I have found it easier to do the cog, to do it that way. You may find a different way. And then that locating pegs in. And then all I need to do is just hold that cog down like that. Remember, we're ignoring that hole there for the moment. It's that hole we're interested in. And because that's got a locating peg, and I just remembered actually when we did the last motor, I was concerned about that screw sticking out from the bottom. As you can see, there was absolutely no issues with it at all. And sorry, let me have a look. So yeah, I was concerned about this screw. Do you remember that, Chris?
Yeah.
This screw protrudes, but I've just noticed that where the screw goes, there's a small indent just there. So it's really not a problem. But I did say that, didn't I? I often raise a concern when in fact it's actually nothing to worry about. Right, so step 11. What I'm most concerned about is where these wires are going to go. Now, right, the magazine orientation, I'm going to guess that you have to keep an eye on this because they orientate it in completely different ways. It would appear to be orientating downwards now, whereas the last one, it was orientated, the propeller was going to the left. It's now coming down. I'm going to move this back because this is really not going to be a good position to work in. But what they want us to do is place the motor there. And it looks like this wire is going to go off like that. And the left motor, which is now on the right, is going to come there. And I can see there's a small channel. Now, this is only speculation, but this looks like a really sensible way of doing it. If they wanted the wire to come out the side there, when we put the motor on, that's going to pin that wire down. If we then later found out it needs to come a different way, then we could have a few problems. But let me show you this. You really cannot be 100% sure which wire is which, but it looks like this wire there. Let me get my pointy knife. This wire there looks like it's come off the right motor. You can see there, look, there's the bar. So this is the right motor, even though it's on the left. So there's the right wire. And then the left wire is there, which is going to go underneath that circuit board there and into there. So it looks like they're going to channel these wires up through the middle, and they're going to go up to a piece of fuselage that we haven't built yet. Does that make sense to you, Chris?
Yeah.
Now, the problem we've got then is we can bend these wires, but we do not want to kink them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that. As you see, like the wires will be loose and not interfering. So I think that's going to be quite good. So got my screwdriver ready. We'll work out which hole is going to be easiest for us. And I think this particular time, that top hole will be easiest. And that's just going to go in. Whoa. Just enough to bite, no more. And also don't forget, we need to check this wing flap. I forgot to check that, but I just happen to have it correct. And this is the beauty of only putting one screw in. I can still adjust that. So, yeah, right. That cog is now pointing up exactly halfway through the stoppers.
Yeah.
So, and I'll show you the comparison of the two flaps in a moment, so that you know I think it's not so much important to get the flaps in the correct position. I think it's much more important to get the flaps level. So if they're like 1 millimeter too down, as long as they're both the same, they're out by the same amount. Obviously, we want to get them perfect, but without them explaining to us exactly what perfect is, we can only make an educated guess. Right, so that second screw is in, that flap is in position. I'm happy with that, but that for me is a terrible working position. So what I want to do is flip it around 180 degrees. So take into account, guys, that I'm working on the opposite side to the magazine, but I really can't work over the engine like that. So I've got my fingers underneath, support on the bottom, kind of pulling up a little bit because I know I'm pushing down with this screwdriver hand.
Yeah.
There we go. That one's in. Then we'll do this last one. And this one's going to go in as tight as we can. Lovely. And then we'll just double check this first screw. Lovely. There we go. So the wing flaps look even. These wires look like they've got plenty of movement. I am convinced they're going up through the middle. That's what, look, there's a hole there and it just looks like it's made to measure with the. So let me bring this up so you can see these flaps. Can you see that it's roughly level with the aeroplane? Now that might not be absolutely correct, but can you see the other side is exactly the same?
Yeah, that's good.
So what I'm suggesting here is that if that's maybe 2 or 3 degrees out on one side, it's equally wrong on the other. And the fact that the flaps in their natural position are the same, because obviously remember that they're going to move, you know, however they're going to move. But when they're in a natural position, they're going to look the same. So, yeah. Oh, my back is hurting. but I'm really, really happy. I mean, I know there were short issues, but I've got 7 done in one stream. I'll be absolutely honest with you guys. If I'd have known that that was going to be 7 issues that quickly, I would have streamed at 8 o'clock. So I think we're probably going to be wise to stream at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah. Would you guys be happy with that? Now, Chris, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Would you be able to join us tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll do, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So, right, okay. So Dave Mack says, take care, John's model making.
Yeah, take care,
you always come in right at the end of my stream, don't you? I mean, I love seeing you around, but you always come in just as I'm saying goodbye. I've said it a lot of times. I'll say it again. Did you know if it wasn't for Harvey De Niro, a lot of us probably wouldn't be streaming now. Yeah. I know I flatter him all the time and I go on a lot. But we used to stream using Google Hangouts.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. And suddenly, without warning, it just all changed and we couldn't use it. Yeah. We were all in a panic, and that's when I discovered Harvey De Niro using StreamYard. And some people have come away from StreamYard and used a different streaming service, but I'm really, really happy with StreamYard. And if it wasn't for Harvey De Niro, I wouldn't be here now. And I know there's a lot of streamers who are in the same position. So yeah, I will always thank you for that, Harvey. So Dave Mack, I always work to the opposite of the magazine too. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if they've thought about their positioning, because it's that. Normally, I always try to work to the magazine, because if someone's following what I'm doing and following the magazine, I like to try and keep it the same. But I've got to be honest with you, that particular time, there's no way I could work over unless I moved it down but flipped the camera so it looks like. But that might have made it even worse. I don't know. But I assume so long as I've explained to you that I'm working the opposite way around, I guess that'd be fine. I just noticed, if you look at my window in the background, just above my head, that looks terrible. That is my massive pile of chocolate. I go down the pound shop and I buy multi-packs of chocolate. And they sit on the windowsill. And the reason they sit in the windowsill is they're much easier to reach from bed. I can just go, chocolate. And that now everybody thinks that I'm a fat, lazy person who sits in bed munching chocolate, which isn't far from the truth. But so Harvey De Niro, sorry, Penny, not getting notifications. Normally I would say like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, you'll get notifications. But
turn them all on.
And then when you get the odd person saying I'm not getting notifications, it's tempting to say, well, I think there's a problem your end. However, he's not the only person saying not getting notifications, and I've experienced it myself. There's a couple of YouTubers I've subscribed to, and I'm like, oh, great. They've just released their first video. Oh, they normally release a video every week, but they've actually they've not released a video for 4 months. And I'm like, oh, lovely. So I go to watch their video, and then I look at their channel, and I see there's like 25 videos been released since the last time I got a notification. So I don't know. I've heard complaints from YouTube about not getting notifications and things. I don't know. So I'm sorry. Right, so Harvey Nail says thank you and you're too kind. No, I'm not kind enough. I owe you my stream livelihood for your efforts. Dave Mack, and thanks to Chris, I'm gaining confidence going on his live shows. Obviously, I had the issue lately. You go back 2-3 years when I first started live. It was really, really hard. We still laugh about my first bus video, the quality, and me holding up a great big bit of cardboard going, I'm a bus driver. This is a bus driver.
I remember that from Bus Station 1.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that the only way you can get better is to keep doing it. I defy you to find any YouTuber whose first ever video was James Cameron quality, except for James Cameron, because his would be. But I bet you his early work was awful.
Yeah.
So, and it's all a learning experience. And recently I've had a big knockback in my life, and I literally just had all the confidence sucked out of me, and I've come back and my confidence is growing, and it's just keep doing lives and start putting out the best content that you can put out. And I think a lot of people, it's not necessarily the quality they're after, the quality of the stream, as much as the quality of the presenter. If someone doesn't like you, they're not going to watch your channel. If you're a likable person, which you are, Dave Mack, and I'm not.
I can have a laugh with him all the time.
Yeah, but I watch his videos, and he's really likable. And yes, I'm sorry, I'll say it. You're not Steven Spielberg. But you can work through that because you are likable, and that's how you just keep. So Mike Tedstone's called me a chocoholic. Not the worst thing he's ever called me. Harvey De Niro says, I've just done subbed and resubbed. That works sometimes. Yeah. The only other thing you can do is send me your mobile phone number and I'll text you when I go live.
Yeah.
Fine line between helpful and stalking there, isn't it? Dave Mack, since I made my new channel after deleting my other, it took me ages to put all my videos back on. Oh, I bet it did. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I am really, really happy. I knew these issues were short. I remember when they first came out and everybody on the Spitfire groups and various places, they were all like, oh, is that it? Actually, I think that's quite a worthwhile issue. You know, there's almost 2 packs there. But look, we've added the 2 wings, 2 flaps, ailerons, and we've got all the mechanism. And isn't it so much better when you know all the workings? Were you one of these people, Chris, as a kid, you get a watch and you get a screwdriver and you take it all apart to figure out how it works? We're doing all of this in the correct order. We're putting it all together. And I just think that makes any model so much more satisfying. So, right. Do you want to, shall we have a look at the YouTube schedule?
Do we read this pen or?
You can call it out if you want, but there's one change on there that I've got my show for 6 o'clock tomorrow. Obviously, midstream, we've changed that to 8 o'clock. We really whizzed through. We've made a really good impact on it today. And like I say, can we have a look at next week's issue? Well, I won't open it. But next time, we did actually forget to look at it. So next week, we're doing a left wing flap and hinge parts. So based on experience, would it be reasonable to assume that we're doing a left wing flap and wing hinge parts next week or next issue, and then within the next few issues, once we finish that left wing flap, we would then be doing the right wing flap? So on that basis, do you think we might get through 4 or 5 issues?
Yeah.
We are. So there's issue 54 with the left wing flap, and it says right wing flap, hinges, attachments and screws, which is then, look, it's looking, so those 2 look pretty much identical. So there's one issue that's going to take however long it's going to take, and that makes the second one easier. So then 56 is going to be a motor cable and label for the wing flaps. So 57 is not the same. Cogs housing. So I think we could probably get 3, 4, 5 issues done tomorrow. And as I said earlier on, if we only got 2 issues done in 2 hours, my camera, it's more to do with my lighting. I've moved house. Sorry, I haven't bring the comment up. Harvey, no, your camera looks a bit blurry. Yeah. I've just moved house for the umpteenth time. I haven't set my setup properly. My internet is a bit disappointing, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's not what I'm used to, and I'm just trying to make do with what I can. So Dave Mack says it's nice to have you back, Penny. I'll be watching again tomorrow. So yeah, so if we only, I mean, I'll do as many issues as I can in the 2 hours without rushing. You know, I try not to rush. And let's say if I've only got 2 issues done, that's 9 issues in 2 days. I think that's a sizable chunk. I'm just disappointed that I feel I've achieved quite a lot on this today. I know it's 7 issues. If I don't make as much progression tomorrow, would I be disappointed? I've never been disappointed with part works, and I do have this skill of being positive. I can look at something that's an absolute disappointment and point out the good bits, and but think what it's going to be like when it's finished. So anyway, sorry, yeah. Right, do you want to call out the shows for the coming week? Oh, I just removed them.
Yeah, you can do it. Do you want to full screen it, or do you want to leave it like that?
Let's do a full screen.
Yeah,
not
right.
There is that.
It's Friday, isn't it?
So Horlicks is doing at 7 o'clock. I'm going to call Horlicks out because he's now going to be broadcasting before me, not after. So Horlicks is at 7 o'clock on his channel. He's doing Spitfire 62 and 63. Yeah. And then at 8 o'clock, not 6 o'clock, is Build a Spitfire issues 54 onwards. So we've no longer got a question mark for that. And then Saturday, we've got some guys, some idiots broadcasting Saturday, haven't they? No, we've got it's going to be a dual stream. We've got Chris Davis and Chris Campling's channel. They're going to be doing Jaguar issue. I can't quite see the issue number. Is that 60?
68, 69.
68, 69. Sorry, on my screen I can't see.
What's his Christmas favourite number? 69.
Yeah, that's 8 o'clock. Now, disclaimer for you. It looks like there's nothing happening on Sunday. As you can see, I can only read out what's on the spreadsheet. If it's not on the spreadsheet, I'm not reading it out. If it's on the spreadsheet incorrectly, I'm sorry, it gets read out. So it looks like there's nothing being broadcast on Sunday. And then that leaves Monday. A couple of other people, weird idiots, are going to be broadcasting. Just joking. So Chris Campbell is going to be building the Terminator issue 113 to 114 at 8 o'clock. And he's going to be doing that with Chris Davis. Yeah, so that will be on your stream. Yep. Now, Tuesday, we've got Build with Adrian. He's going to be doing the Build the Ferrari F40 issue. Is that 43?
43, the sound system.
I look like I can't read. What it actually is, it's quite small on my screen. And I've actually got my normal glasses, not my hobby glasses on. I can see that's the sound system. And that's at 7 o'clock. Then Wednesday, we've got the return of the Paint with Diamond show. And I really want to thank everyone for the support they've given me on that. That's at 2 o'clock. Now, I have an extremely important announcement. I have decided to keep it an absolute secret until Wednesday. I know there's 2 viewers of this channel that know exactly what it is. But I have an extremely pleasing, happy announcement, which to me makes me feel that my channel is going somewhere. And I'm really trying to build the hype up here and get everyone so excited that they can't not watch the channel. But yeah, wait till Wednesday, guys, and there's a really important announcement, which is is absolutely brilliant. That's at 2 o'clock. Wednesday evening, we've got Build with Adrian part work show, Spitfire 66. Sorry, I'm reading small print. And Terminator !116. Now, I believe !116 means he's intending to build issue 116. But at the time of speaking, the issue hasn't been received.
Yeah.
I think he's expecting it around about Monday. If it's a bit late, it might come Tuesday. So as it stands, Thursday and Friday, there is nothing happening. And I've gone beyond a week there, haven't I? So, yeah, next Thursday. So if it turns out there's nothing happening on Thursday, I may possibly try and do something. Or I might just sit in bed all day and do nothing and eat chocolate from my windowsill.
Yeah, that's it then.
Oh, excuse me. So, yeah, so that's the show for today. I really didn't know that was going to be that quick. I really did not expect that. And especially as I had this problem with the bus where I hadn't built the bus for so long, I kind of lost, you kind of get a bond with the model that you're building, don't you?
Yeah.
And I kind of lost that bond, lost the momentum. And it took me a couple of issues to get it going again. And I was a little bit worried that was going to happen with my current part works. Yeah. So, guys, in the comments, not in the chat, after the show was finished, I'd like to ask you all a favor. I would like you to tell me if you would like me, if you are happy with me doing these live, or if you, because previously I've done them all recorded. We're just playing with a few ideas. I'm playing with an awful lot of ideas for my channel. Some regarding live, some recording pre-recorded, some regarding pre-recorded. Some of my situations have changed, so I have to rethink a few things, but I think I've got a way of getting some good regular content. But how do you feel about me releasing these as live videos, or perhaps would you prefer to see these pre-recorded, and then maybe I could think about doing something else live? Because I know a lot of you guys, believe it or not, and this is why my viewers are the most brilliant viewers ever. Some of the people don't really come for the build, they come for the show, and then they can all intermingle with other people. And sometimes I think my shows should just be come along and interact with everybody show.
What possibly could go wrong?
So, yeah, maybe perhaps people. I feel this Spitfire is a little bit more of a serious build. I mean, I've taken it a lot more seriously than some of my other builds because of how much of an icon it is. It's I don't think it is the plane that won World War II, but it's up there, isn't it? So, you know, maybe getting it down into a 20-minute video explaining everything as we've done. You know, if you're stuck on one particular stage, do you really want to be looking through a two-hour stream just to find that one bit? And then just to find out that as you think we're coming up to that bit that you're looking up on, we're having a bit of a lark around, you know. So I'd really like to know your thoughts. You can leave a long comment or a short comment, but just tell me how you'd like to see the, you know. So, you know, would you like me to carry on these live, or would you like me to do pre-recorded?
I got a suggestion for you.
What's that, sorry?
I got a suggestion, which I could, like, you know, we wrote master videos before?
Yes.
We used to do them live and then edit them down.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
yeah,
do
so that's another option. I could perhaps do them live elsewhere and then then do an edited version. I've done that in the past. That works quite well.
That was good, yeah.
Yeah, so many options. So listen, guys, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to close it all down now. Possibly because I'm itching for chocolate and playing on the PlayStation and having another.
if anyone doesn't know what I was doing behind the screen while Penny's doing that, I was fixing my ecto, which I just done.
Yeah, I guess you were, because you were talking about it. I'm really happy with what you've done there. So
this wheel was wobbly, and I took the wheel drum off, and what it was behind it wasn't tight enough.
Yeah, I found that it's extremely difficult, and I think a lot of these parts, they're like made to measure, and then they're painted, and that paint makes them thicker. And sometimes what you need to do is just keep moving something.
Oh yeah, just doing sneak peek what's coming on my channel on Saturday.
What's that, sorry?
This is what's coming on Saturday. That's to do with the
So,
fuel tank.
all I can see is a shiny plastic bag. What is it? Issue 68.
It's a fuel tank.
Fuel tank. Oh, you'll enjoy that, Chris.
And then this is part of this where the spare wheel goes, which is 69.
Nice, nice.
Which is coming Saturday, that will be live.
Right. Okay. I'll just finish off the comments, and then I'm going to say goodbye and thank yous. So Mike says, "No, I think we were here. Hardly now. A bit of both, maybe." Well, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about bringing in another live, and I'm thinking about doing some pre-recordeds, and I'm just juggling with ideas of which one to do live and which one to do pre-recorded. I think I have some ideas, but I want to see what you guys are going to enjoy. Mike Tedstone says some come just for you, Penny, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Dave Mack says live streams.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Thank you so much, Dave. This is the comment that really sort of helps build my confidence. Great stream tonight, guys, and great build. And I don't think you'd say that just because it's a nice thing to say. You know, I think most of our viewers they'll say something nice or they won't say anything. So the fact that most people have said nothing means it's terrible. Just joking. So Harvey De Niro says bye all. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate the support. And I'm going to let Chris Davis finish because he is my absolute hero right now, helping me to co-host. And it's been epic. So take care, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Oops, sorry, wrong person.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Give Penn a good thumbs up, right, and really appreciate that, Penn. Whatever, having me on, which is great.
No problems.
Yeah, take care.
Okay, take care, guys. Bye bye.